you walked by a TV yesterday, you saw it. 4 of the country's top gymnasts bravely testifying before Congress. They were very upset about how the FBI handled the investigation into reports of sexual abuse by Larry Nassar.
Yeah, one of those gymnasts and one of our favorites is Aly Raisman. She says the FBI failed to stop rampant abuse by their former team doctor. And Aly joins us now. Hey, Aly.
Hi, how are you guys?
Oh, we're so happy you're here. Hoda and I stopped yesterday, like I think a lot of women around our country, a lot of people around our country, and we saw you all sitting there telling this story that you've had to tell over and over again. And I think both of us gasped at your strength.
Thank you. That means a lot. Yeah, I think what you just said of having to tell the story over and over again, I feel like we've been saying some of the same things for years. I know that the Today Show has been so supportive of me. I've come on so many times. I've done so many interviews with you guys, which I appreciate so much. I feel like a broken record saying the same things over and over again. And it's so traumatic to go through the abuse, but then to have to constantly relive it and to do that, and then especially to do it when so many people are watching. You know, from the moment we walked in yesterday, there were so many cameras in our faces, and it's so hard to know how to navigate that, because it's hard enough to give a testimony, but then when you also think that so many people are watching me right now, I hope that what I'm saying makes sense. I hope that it helps somebody out there. This is so much bigger than me, so I put so much pressure on myself to give a good testimony, so that it helps effectuate change. So it's really hard, and you know, we've been saying it so many times, so hopefully yesterday will help make change.
Well, I have to tell you, you were brave, you were strong. I felt you. I felt everything you were going through in that moment. But I kept thinking to myself as I was watching, why do you think no one listened? Like, why didn't the FBI take you seriously? Why didn't Steve Penny, who's the head of the Gymnastics Association, listen? Why couldn't they hear your voices?
Yeah, you know, I'm wondering that same question as well. I had mentioned a couple of different, you know, speculations I had in my speech. Like, is it the LA 28 bid? I don't know. Was it job opportunities? I don't know. Was it to avoid criminal liability? I'm not sure. And that's why we really need the answers. And the only way to get that is a complete and independent investigation of the FBI, USAG, and USOPC. And without that, we're not going to be able to understand the interplay between all 3 of them, and we can't believe in a safer future. And so it's frustrating for me because, you know, everyone in positions of power knows much better than me how important an independent investigation is, and they have done it before. They know what needs to be done, and so it's frustrating that we've been saying it over and over again, and it hasn't been done. So I'm not sure. I don't know how many more people have to come forward for them to understand that this is a massive problem, and there are so many adults who look the other way and cover it up. So it concerns me to think about the world that we live in, especially with how public our experiences are. You know, I think about the young kid that's being abused at home and the message that the FBI is sending them. You know, that's why I think we are all fighting, is to help change that, because I don't want any other survivor to feel afraid of reporting, or to feel like I'm not even going to bother reporting, because if their case is so public and they're being ignored, what chance do I have? I don't want to live in a world like that.
Well, and I think it's so, you guys kept repeating this, all 4 of you. You were children. Yeah. And he's a pedophile. Like, children. People see you as elite athletes, and they call you elite athletes, which you are. Yeah. But what people forget is that you're kids too. You were young kids who needed to be protected.
Little girls that wanted to be heard.
Yeah, you know, and I think that what people don't realize is that the abuse was so normalized for so long. And, you know, there was many, many times where survivors would speak up, or my teammates and I would speak up, but we weren't listened to. And then there was even times where we were told that we were wrong. And so when it also becomes so normalized, and it's happening to so many of my friends, and it's been going back for decades, I would say if this was wrong, somebody would have spoke up long ago. And I don't think people realize when you are a victim of abuse, and it takes everything you have to to have the courage to share your story.
Yeah.
Survivors are, there's far too many times when survivors aren't believed, but when you do speak up and somebody doesn't believe you, it can prevent a survivor from talking about it again, because that's another trauma. And people don't realize that every time someone doesn't support you, it's another trauma. And so often, I think that survivors already diminish and don't trust what they feel. And we tell ourselves, it's not that bad. Somebody else probably has it worse. I won't say anything. What if I'm wrong? And our society often enables the abuser. So it's the fear of, well, what if this isn't right? And I think there's also not a lot of education and prevention in our society, where I wish as a kid I understood what sexual abuse was, because I would have said this isn't right, instead of kind of going back in my head and saying, this definitely isn't right, but I never expected it to be sexual abuse because it wasn't talked about. So I thought that will never happen to me and my friends. The odds of it happening are so slim. And now that I'm so outspoken about it and I work with Darkness to Light, I realize it's around 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys will be sexually assaulted by the age of 18. If I knew that, it would have been alarm bells in my head, but I didn't. I thought it wasn't that common.
Yeah. And you trusted a doctor. I mean, this was, of course, you were like, well, he must know. And just really quickly, we only have a couple of seconds left, but let's pretend the FBI was held accountable. Let's pretend Steve Penny ended up being found guilty and going to jail. Let's pretend all the people who you thought were, who need to be disciplined were. Do you think you would feel relief?
It definitely, there's nothing that can erase the pain that we've all been through. But I think it's important for people to understand that for 6 years, we've been fighting this battle, and that is another trauma on its own. The way a survivor heals can be linked to how their abuse is handled. And so I think it would really help a lot of us in our healing. And I think it will help us sleep better at night, knowing that it's a safer gymnastics community. It's a safer world. And I think that it's very concerning that the FBI was a part of this cover-up. And I think Michaela Maroney said something like, if they weren't protecting us, who are they protecting? Yeah, exactly. So I think getting the answers will help us believe in a safer future. It will definitely make a big difference.
Well, watching you all yesterday inspired so many.
Aly, I have to say, I feel like I've seen you in a lot of really trying situations, and yesterday, boy, you definitely shined. You're still being the grandma. You're still helping everybody out even now. Thank you, Aly. Thanks so much.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Find your favorite recipes, celebrity interviews, uplifting stories, shop our favorite deals, and so much more with the Today app. Download it now.